So for my exploration, I looked at whether or not education impacted marriage age or average age of marriage in a country. The first thing I did was some research to find out what the trends are at this point. So this graph shows the percent of 30 to 34-year-old women married in 174 countries. So what the trend is, or what the comparison is the x-axis are the percent of women married in 1985, and the y-axis would be 2002. So over about 18 to 20 years here is what we're looking at. So for the U.S., we've got about 90% were married in 1985, compared to fewer than 80% in 2002. So there was a decline there. If I look at France, in 1985, it was about 85% of women were married at that age, and when you get into 2002, it was only about 55%. So there was a drop of about 30%. That seems to be the general trend, except when these ones are below the line. Okay, so everything below the line, the marriage age has dropped over time. The other part that I looked at was the average annual change of women married, and so it would be a drop if it's to the left here. So every year there's been a change for France, for instance, of about a little over 1% per year over that time period. The only ones that have increased are Vietnam, Indonesia, Thailand, Costa Rica. Okay, so when I went to Gapminder World, I needed to measure what I could consider education. So I looked at literacy rate of adult females, percent ages 15 and above who are literate on the x-axis, to see if that literacy rate, if that's increasing, would we then see an increase in the average age that a woman is married. So this is the graph as it goes through time, and you can see that over time, many of the bubbles have been moving to the right, so increasing in literacy rate, and then up, so increasing average age of first marriage. If we subset some of them, so sub-Saharan Africa here, you can see that there is definitely a trend that the more literate you are, the less likely it is for you to get married at an early age, so the average age of a woman getting married increases. To look at a few of those bubbles, South Africa has a literacy rate in 2005 of 86% of women, and their average marriage age was 28. And Ethiopia, the literacy rate is 18%, average marriage age 21. Mali, 17%, average marriage age 18. One here way at the bottom is Afghanistan, and Afghanistan is where they are really preventing girls from getting married or from getting educated. So you can see the effect that that has on the age of first marriage. Now, when I take a look at Europe and Central Asia, they have a high literacy rate, and the range of average age of first marriage goes from Uzbekistan at 21 to Slovenia at 30. That vertical line tells me that the literacy is not affecting the age at first marriage, so that would have been cultural. Now, one that is way up here with a very high average age is Jamaica. And Jamaica has an average age for marriage at 33 and literacy rate of 89. So they do stand out as an outlier with a high positive residual. That's not what we would expect. When I went to look up why that was, it was because in Jamaica and islands around Jamaica like the Bahamas, they believe that a civil union, so man, woman having a family together, does not require the actual legal union of marriage. And because the statistics are gathered from data based on marriage licenses, if you haven't gone and gotten your marriage license, then obviously they don't record you as married. So that is why that occurs way up there. And then there are a few others. If you take a look at the Middle East, The Middle East, I want you to watch the Middle East, the green ones, as I play. So for the Middle East, they are having those on the vertical axis. There is a sharp increase from 1975 to 2005 in the average age that women are marrying. And we have Algeria up here, Tunisia there, Libya over here. So there has definitely been a shift as girls are becoming more educated. So in conclusion, it does seem as though education is impacting marriage age specifically. The more literate is my measurement of education. The more literate women become, the less likely they are to marry early, which leads to a higher average marriage age for the whole population.